Morning. So I did talk with the dentist, Dr. Evans, and told him of my aspirations to share some of the strategies and activities and things that we found useful in trying to specialize. And so what I wanted to talk about today was specialization. I wanted to talk about what's different about you. Why would someone drive past other practitioners with the same accreditation that you have and come to your office? That's a lot like the, Simon Sinek talking about people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And you never want to be competing on price, because if price is the only differentiator between you and someone else, they certainly will not drive past someone else to come see you. What I assert is that people will happily pay extra for trust. What makes me think that are experiences in healthcare and even in auto care. Like a good friend of mine had a diagnosis, but he didn't feel good about what he was being asked to do. He went and got a second opinion, and in the end he actually ended up getting the treatment that was recommended by the first dentist. He ended up having a root canal, not unlike what was recommended to him, but the difference in the amount of informed decision making made a bit of difference. And I feel the same way. I know I've got a vehicle. I know that at some point in time I'm going to have to tag out from the DIY stuff and get an expert to help me. But the difference between giving money to somebody you trust versus giving money to someone who maybe you felt like you got hustled by for essentially the same treatment is a big difference. So what do you do? Why do you do it? We've talked about wanting to have a niche. A neighbor of mine says, what's your unique defendable selling proposition? And so what do you specialize in? And when I say specialize, I assume that your mind goes to, is that an association sanctioned specialty, or is that like people at home Googling a specialty? Because one is one is different than the other. So real as far as associations say, real as far as patients say, or is it a specialization that's real as far as insurance is concerned? What insurance will pay for, or what you're what you should and shouldn't be doing in your practice, what you have authority and scope to do, what you actually have a license to do. You want to be a pediatric dentist, you want to be an endodontist, you want to be an orthodontist, you want to be a sedation dentist, or a biologic or holistic, or there's one in here I put on my text, chirodontics. That's something I could, like chirodontics, that's like a branch of airway and sleep dentistry. And as a practitioner, if you're young, I think that you should expect to evolve in your interests and those things that you find to be efficacious for your patients. You're evolving in your specialization and your passions in conjunction with those patients that you have relationships with. That's part of it. I left out cosmetic kind of intentionally because that's sort of like the baseline. Here's a story. One time I was at a meeting, and this is actually a meeting of physicians, and the physicians, I was there on behalf of trying to collaborate with some oral systemic health stuff, but there was a disparaging remark amongst the physicians about dentists being tooth carpenters and not real doctors. And there was laughter in the room, and I'm like, what is that about? And it frustrated me the same way that if I was a chiropractor and I heard the ads that run on the radio during the hockey game that characterize chiropractic care as nothing more than just back cracking and range of motion, as if it was completely separate from optimal health and optimal, immune system functionality and all these other things, I'd be like, you guys are not helping the cause of chiropractic. The same way that people who, draw near into the principles of holistic wellness with their lips, but their hearts are far from it. They're totally invested in, pounding implants into spongy, infected bone so that you can have a chiclet smile, perfect for the TV news, while you got focal infection theory rotting your whole body. It's like, to that degree, when dentists act like tooth carpenters, to me, then they deserve the disdain that they get. And the same is true of all health practitioners, that when you actually are totally indifferent to the systemic problems that are upstream or downstream from your discipline, then maybe you are just a tooth carpenter. I'm just speaking plainly. What do I know? I'm just the marketer. But I think that, what this discussion is about the suite of activities that are within those things that you can influence. Like, I'm not saying that a practice isn't built one relationship at a time, and a strong hygiene department. Obviously it is, and people will drive past other practitioners to come see you when they trust you. There's people in my work who, they own problems like I own problems, and if they raised their rates double, I would still pay it because of the peace of mind that I receive on account of knowing that they're invested in the problem solving to the degree that I am. Like, that's worth extra money to me. In fact, there's some people the people who I trust, I've called them up and I've said, look, I know you don't carry this product, but I want to order it from you. Will you source it for me? Mark it up if you want, but I don't want to do business with other people. I want to do business with you. That's an example of the kind of trust that we're going for, and that yields the kind of referrals that build a strong, healthy practice. And I'm saying that those relationships are built one at a time. So to the degree that you can accentuate and expedite, growth, here's, some activities that you can do to demonstrate to the market that you are the holder of that chiropractic seat, dentist seat, nutritionist seat, and so that's where the referral should go. It should go to you. Anyways, I hope that makes sense.